Hello, welcome to part 3 of my travels overseas in 2016. So this is a picture of me traveling with my backpacking, the 20 kilogram backpack and the smaller with 4 kilogram until 10 kilogram. So if you max it out. And it was early morning at 6 a.m. on the 24th, I guess, or the 22nd of May. I was still with my international group, and I was on my way to the meeting point, or the point where we meet to go for our next adventure. And we did drive by bus. So we met in the morning. Backpack bought especially for this travel with this international group, this great vacancy. They offered a really good prepared tour guide, and it was really, really interesting. But I suffered from this really fast walking into a hostel, go to bed, then wake up, then go into the next bus. Then they had their own tour bus. Then I couldn't sleep on buses because there was always entertaining and loud music. And so we traveled most of the day 2 till 4 hours, sometimes just 2 hours. Sometimes we spent 4 hours a day in this bus to get to our next location. I tell you this because, as you can see, I was really prepared with a lot of self-guiding tools or self-reliant tools like this backpack, so I could go everywhere. It was filled until 20 kilograms. So because I had to go on a plane, and it can't be much more than 20 kilograms because I had this this smaller backpack, and it was for my to go to take with me in the plane. So this on my back was 20 kilograms, sometimes 25 kilograms, and in front of me it was 4 kilograms, maximum of 10 kilograms. And I also had a little purse with my passport or something else important, like my money. Like I had cash on me, and this was then in my purse to get there really fast. So I felt at the first week really important for myself, so I could take care on myself, because I had everything in this backpack, and I really enjoyed every day to figure out how to wear it, how to get all the stuff I needed inside this bag, and also had prepared myself if I leave this huge bag behind, which was not possible until this point. So I had really early the feeling that I needed a space to leave this huge backpack just for one day at a safe space. So I could go there, spend one day on vacation of all this weight on my shoulders, because I'm not really a heavy person. So I had not really built up too many muscles, so that I would not feel the extra weight, or this amount of because it's huge. It's just here up against my head if I pull back my head. So it would be a relief just to leave this bag one day behind, and there was not really an opportunity, or maybe just not enough opportunities during this huge vacation. So at this point I take a picture from myself with this huge bag and the smaller bag, and on my shoulder, wrapped around my purse. Um, uh, Around 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. I see digital information tells me. 6 a.m. 6:27 a.m. in the morning, and it was the 22nd of May in 2016. So I took this picture walking down the street from the hostel, meeting other people from the international group, taking a coffee buying a coffee from the next coffee shop which opened up in Brisbane. There you can see the building behind me. It's a building with offices, so it's not really a residential area. We are in the business district, the CBD, the Central Business District. So in the end, I got familiar with the feeling of Brisbane, or the flow of the working area, the Central Business District. It felt really comfortable to be there in this area. So maybe this is the reason why I spent a few days in Melbourne after I cancelled in the middle of my, I would say in the middle of my booked vacation with the international tour. I cancelled my trip and spent a few days at Melbourne, and then went on to Brisbane. Lived in a hotel apartment for a few days, figured out what would be the best for my budget, because I wanted to make the most of it and have this backpacking situation give me more of freedom than a closure of possibilities. So this was the reason I did find the rentals in Brisbane very attractive, in a way that I could have the safe space to leave my backpack behind, because I didn't need much at this point, because I was really narrowing everything down to this to the most luxury I needed to feel comfortable and to feel relaxed, and not to minimize, but to the most luxury was interestingly exactly what needed to be in this backpack. And so as you can see, there's still the Pure Taste logo, the brand from the cafe across my apartment. I did rent in July. This was the most dangerous part for myself. So to feel wrapped up in this whole backpacking situation without getting out of this feeling that's always on my back. So I did find a way, as you can see in the following video clips, to manage to feel more comfortable and to get the most of luxury during my travel as a backpacker. From my apartment in Brisbane, from July until November, I spent there every day, every week. I had a coffee in the morning. As I told you, I went to the closest cafe, and they had such a great specialty. I believe I just really loved their coffee and how they did it. I'm really passionate about barista. So about the way you can manage just a small cup feel for yourself so great in the morning, because it tastes, sometimes you can choose between almond milk or soy milk, and then I was not such a person for different flavors, so I was not really a Starbucks fan, but I really loved these brewing machines they had there, and they had fresh roasted coffee every morning, and I really enjoyed the luxury of going there just a few euros, not every morning, but when I was in Brisbane at my apartment, it felt really cozy. to go there to have great coffee and yeah, mostly to take away, so to take back to my apartment and then enjoy my coffee on my own. These little shops, they have great baristas, they work there really hard, and also they have really limited space to sit or to get your coffee. And most of the time it was really quiet, so it was before you go to work, um, before 8 a.m., 6, 7 a.m. I guess they open their doors. Sometimes they are just, or they are not even open, they're just open up around really close to 8 a.m. So then the the first people who are running around there are the people go to work. So on their way to work, they get a little coffee. So, and I was really fascinated by this really routine of a walking distance to such a great specialty like a little coffee. So I tried a few places around my apartment, and most of the time they're just on your doorstep. So these apartment buildings have a little recreation area. It's what I call it. Mostly it's just a place where you have grass underneath and a few benches. So also, if you are lucky, these building complexes are these areas of apartment buildings have a little bistro. So that's what's really great, and that's the reason why I stayed in Brisbane, and I loved it really much. But as you can see, I managed to to have a great vacation because I mapped it out here for you by pictures I took by my phone on my phone. Um, I went to Bali. I went to Melbourne. I also stayed, as you can see here, I had a muffin and I did draw a little bit. It was nothing. It's just something I did. A piece at the moment at the library in Queensland. And also I went to Bali, I went to Yamba in New South Wales. So I tried to map it out all the ways I could go from Brisbane. So I called it my vacation, but as you can see, I was a tenant. I did rent an apartment, so I have to watch my budget. Also, I was relieved because I always could stay at Brisbane at my apartment and it was quiet and I was on my own. So I had my own kitchen. I had my coffee places in the morning where I could go. Brisbane has a great Brisbane River area. It's a really recreation area. Um, and it was a really luxury for myself, but also at the end it's more that I found out that I really needed this space to prepare myself for the world outside. It's not about being in a foreign country. It's just that sometimes you have the opportunity to find out what kind of person you are and in which personal space you need to be to relax or to feel safe. And I had this safe space in Brisbane, and yes, it was really great, and I guess I took the strength from this apartment, from my own personal review of this really great area I picked to stay. I took the strength from there to go to Bali or to stay a few days in Melbourne, and yeah, to find out what's around me and what's on this planet. And I went after that to Denmark, to Copenhagen, and yeah, close enough to Christmas. So I was really relieved that I also mapped it up on my traveling experience in 2016. So the next, I want to show you, this is a small collection of places I went. During my stay at Brisbane at my apartment, I did rent as a tenant for my own. I did pay a monthly rent um, uh, for the tenancy, but also I enjoyed traveling by bus. So along the Gold Coast, I stayed in Brisbane. It's in Queensland, so I had to go to New South Wales to visit Byron Bay. I stayed at the main beach for, I guess I went there 2 times while I stayed there at the main beach at the Byron Bay Beach Hotel. It's a rare opportunity, just because there is this guy, like the actor who played Crocodile Dundee, an Australian actor, and it was really famous, I guess, in the 70s, the 80s, 70s. um, I'm not such a history buff, so I'm sorry, but this is a really great and rare opportunity to visit, and really well managed, really quiet area and recreational space they created in at the beach hotel in Byron Bay. It's at the main beach, as you can see here, the huge trees. This is, I was in the first on the first floor. I had booked in advance, and on another occasion I booked completely out of nowhere, because um, I wanted to relocate myself from one holiday or vacation area apartment to another. Um, so because they have different arrangements in Byron Bay, because it's really touristic, a touristic area or touristic place. And the Byron Bay Beach Hotel was famous because it was owned by this actor who played Crocodile Dundee, an Australian actor. Um, I didn't look so much into it, but I read about the interior design and that the managers try to leave it as it is, because it has this not retro but vintage. It has this touch of 70s vibes, and all Australian, they will always tell you that Byron Bay is really still this flair of 70s, and going to the beach and surfing vibes. So the Byron Bay Beach Hotel covers all these aspects of Byron Bay. So I stayed there and I took this picture from the sunset. As you can see, it's not in the morning; it's in the evening. It's really quiet, and you can relax. And yes, I slept really great. I had no complaints, but in the end, it was really a great view across the ocean. Um, and yes, if you have the opportunity, you can stay there. So next picture, this is me. There was a huge mirror, and it was really large room. It was the motor inn at Coffs Harbour. I think it's still on in New South Wales. I traveled along the Gold Coast, and Coffs Harbour was the farthest I could go, because I had a budget and a timing. I had to be back at my Queensland apartment in Brisbane. Um, so I booked this motor in advance, and it turned out really great. It was just, I guess, 15 minutes close to the beach. It was really dark when I arrived, um, but it was still a really great opportunity. As you can see, that they have this queen size beds. I stayed on my own there, but it's still really comfortable to book this queen size bed. And yes, as you can see, my hair did grow a lot, and I didn't bleach anything. Now I did bleach my hair, but this bleaching blonde, the tips the ends of my hair, they are from the sun. So it was really a great hair deal I had with the weather going on there. I think Australians will tell you that this will happen if you don't use a sun protection spray for your hair. Maybe this would help, but I really enjoyed the slightly blonde advance I had at this point, because I really stayed a long time outdoors, and I went to the beach and find it really great to go to coast. So this is one way to describe my day. So this is a short overview of the beach in, I guess I was there in, this is the beach on in Byron Bay, and close to Byron Bay is another coastal town, and it's also known for its surfing areas, like beaches where you can catch really great waves. Not that I really have experience in surfing. I did try one time, but I didn't leave the sand, so I don't think that it would count. So I'm not really a water person, but these beaches are really, really great. So they're long, sandy beaches, and you can have, on clear weather, you can really see across the ocean. It's really beautiful. And the weather is really important if you want to walk on the beach, because you, as a passenger, you just walk, but there could be a lot of sand in the air. So it's really good to watch the weather. Even though you're not on the water, you're still on the beach side. But it's really important to watch the water, or the weather conditions. So as you can see, if it's really windy, sitting on the beach, which is on the other side, a picture of me sitting on this really great beach at Yamba. It's in New South Wales. It's closest, nearest town to coastal town to New South Wales, Byron Bay, and they are both really good for touristic spots for surfing. And I walked around this town just to get an impression about if you would stay there on vacation or if you live there. I didn't read much about it beforehand, so I walked there and I tried to map out for myself the closest or the nearest beach to go. And then it was a bit intimidating walking through all these uh, buildings, because they are it's a residential area most of the time. I didn't think there were offices or buildings for people who work there. Maybe in Byron Bay there's much difference, because they have a lot of commercial going on there about I'm not really quite familiar with all the brands covering the swimming section or the categories of surfing equipment. But in Byron Bay, they also have like an industrial district where maybe in self-employed or self-reliant management, they have creation areas for they have areas for, or buildings, studios for people who build their own surfboards and sell them. And I really managed to pay taxes with it, so it's really a great income if you're self-reliant, or if you have a small company or startup. Maybe I'm not sure about how many startups there are going on, but they have still like called in the industrial estate or area. In Yamba it seemed more like a residential area, but I'm sure I didn't cover all of it. But this picture I took while I went uh, on top of this small hill. As you can see there, you have from this residential area a great view across the ocean. And yeah, and I went down the street there, and there was the entrance to the beachfront. So it was really pleasant. Yeah, as well as you can see over there, there's a picture I took from a coffee cup. I just ordered a coffee this morning, and I found it really interesting how many informations you get from having a coffee and reading the Byron Bay Gazette, I think it's called. It's a little magazine where you have the weather forecast, and I found myself sitting there just reading, and it was a beautiful day, but it was still windy, so I stayed in this little cafe, and I started to draw myself in these windy conditions, and it turned out to be a little a fairy in the end. Um, I didn't do anything. I just tried to draw, and then I took this picture and found myself throwing this beautiful design away in the next garbage for recycling. So I did the nature a good deed, and also enjoyed having a great coffee, and are able to draw on this paper, which was a coffee cup. So that's the story behind all of this creational identity I managed to create during a few days in Yamba and Byron Bay. In part 4, I tell you about electricity for renting an apartment, and how I managed to walk around, and what was it all about, cultural district in South Bank, Brisbane.